Our third speaker is Reverend Alexandra Sangster. And once again, here come the specs. I'm reading what Alexandra has sent to me. Alex, thank you. The Reverend Alexandra Sangster has been working as a minister of the word in the Uniting Church of Australia for over 18 years and as an actor and facilitator for over 20. She's taught at the National Theatre, Centre for Theology and Ministry, Whitley College, facilitated many retreats and workshops in both corporate and community sectors, designed to awaken, inspire, and challenge. Alex is passionate about breaking open story in ways that liberate, inspire, awaken in many ways, and which create connections with the emerging church and those who are spiritually hungry, but culturally anti-institution. Alex works as an activist with Love Makes a Way, and most recently, or sometime, was arrested for blocking the gates at the Adani frontline. There's one giveaway where what Alex believes has influenced the way she lives. Thank you so much, Alex. We look forward enormously to what you have to say.
No worries. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Hello. Thank you so much to the previous two speakers. That was really very moving listening. Thank you. So I've got 10 minutes. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes of stuff. The first thing to say is that I didn't have to do what you all had to do, which is deconstruct. So because of the work that you all did, it's like in the same way as a feminist, there's a whole lot of work that I didn't have to do because the feminists that went before me worked incredibly hard and fought incredible battles. And so I'm sort of the beneficiary, and my job is to keep doing that work. But with Christianity, I didn't have to do any deconstruction because I wasn't raised as a Christian. So there was a whole lot of stuff that you guys were given and taught and inculcated in and fed that you then had to go, that's icky. And no, but she's my friend. And I don't think there is a hell. But what do you mean Mary was a virgin? And so all that stuff, I didn't have to do it. So, which, is very cool. So thank you very much. And there ends my speech. No, I'm joking. So what I thought I'd do today, instead of talking about all the changes that have happened within my theology, and there have been some, but not heaps, to be honest, which is like I look back at the first sermon I preached and I'm like, yeah, which was basically, for my other two speakers, all about why God was not an interventionist. And, so that was 20 years ago, and I'm sticking to my guns with that one. But shameless plug, I have just written a book. Ta-da! And it's about to be launched, which is very exciting. But the book is all about religion and why religion and being a minister. So what I thought I might do is just read very quickly some excerpts from this to try and capture some of the journey along the way. So I hope that feels okay. So this is just from the introduction. Not many people imagine that one day they will grow up to be an ordained minister. I certainly didn't. I was raised by socialist hippies up in Melbourne in the Dandenongs. Neither of my parents had anything to do with institutional religion, and both were scathing about the church. What my parents did believe in, though, was social justice and changing the world. And I grew up knowing that I had to do this. One of the most common reactions I get from people when they find out what it is that I do is shock. And not just shock because I'm a woman or shock because I'm under 95, but shock because their understanding of the Christian church is that it is a place of raging fundamentalism, racism, sexism, homophobia. And so these folk who don't know me ask, but how and why? Why would you want to belong to an institution that is symbolic of all these things? As I grew up, the awareness of God that I had inside didn't leave me. But the stories that I was told about God, I didn't understand. If God was all powerful, why was there so much suffering? And how could this God, who I knew in my heart as sort of a deep and burning and electric love possibly have preordained the death of his son in some kind of weird sacrifice for the collective sins of a people born out of a fairy tale Adam and Eve, who themselves had only sinned because God had tempted them in the first place? Yes, so I didn't get the church. So when I found myself called in a way both awful, full of awe and mortifying to my very core, I did not even have the language to understand what this call was. So that's a little bit from the introduction of the book. And I'm just gonna, I don't actually have a copy of it yet, so I'm having to scroll through and find some bits that might be relevant to this story. Here we go. Let's find some things. The ashes. The room is small with one coffin and one cupboard. It smells like sand, like dust, like cheap candles. In front of me, leaning against the wall, there are rows of tiny houses made out of what looks like tin. The houses are heaped at awkward angles. It's like the aftermath of an earthquake. The ground has cracked and they are the survivors and they are teetering on the edge. I know about these tiny houses. Last time I was here to do a funeral, I'd asked the funeral director, him with the slick back hair and the three-piece suit, what's with the little houses? Houses? Oh, you mean the candle boxes. It's for the Greeks. They light the candles, you know, for the dead. Later, I look them up and discover in the Orthodox tradition, each grave has its own little house to sit on top of the marble with a lit candle within, and it burns for 40 days and 40 nights. Just the same amount of time, apparently, that Jesus was running free in the wilderness after his baptism, taunted and tempted by the darkness and fed on hope and honey by the light. Apparently, the burning candle inside the tiny house is meant to symbolize a vigil of constant prayer for the deceased. I wonder if by lighting the candle, the family feel that their work is done, or if they also pray, and if so, what do they pray for? Intercessory prayer has never made any sense to me. Either God is love or God is not, and certainly God has no power, at least not in the bolt of lightning kind of way. This much seems abundantly clear. Think tsunami, think Holocaust, think mother birthing in a bombed out cellar, think everyday random tumor, think child stepping off a tram, think speeding car, think abyss. My research reveals to me that one local company has designed a special little house made of ColourBond with a perspex window to stand strong in the Aussie sun. And that in Alaska, the Appalachian First Peoples who were colonized by the Orthodox missionaries have created their own version, tiny, colourful wooden cottages painted in the colours of the family, placed on the graves of the wee spirit house. I wonder if sometimes maybe the souls decide just to hide inside the houses and not come out. How nice it would be to visit, to peer through the tiny windows and watch them going about their days, making soup on tiny stoves and reading poetry by the fire. I'll skip through to another bit. I hope this is fulfilling the brief. Here we go. The Call, Chapter 1. Minister, c. 13th century medieval Latin, meaning priest, from minus minor, meaning less or little, originally to serve. So I am called to be little and to be less, and to act with the authority of another and to serve. It's not your usual job description. And yet here I am, kneeling on a dark green carpet. I'll find some more. Here we go. The pastoral visit, 1. I am standing at the door. I am knocking on the door. I think it's the right address. That was the one given to me by the funeral home. I am knocking. Yes. Oh, hello. I'm the minister. I've come about the minister. No, we don't need a minister. No one needs a minister here. No one needs a minister. No. She slams the door shut in my face. The world won. I didn't grow up wanting to be a minister, but a minister I am. That sentence alone is strange enough. When I was little and as I grew older, if I thought of ministers at all, which I rarely did, I thought of an old robed man from a medieval world of conservatism and cardigans, like on the BBC in a village. Well, yes, yes, you see, Mrs. Heighton, but as you can recognize, the Lord does not feel that way. We did not go to a church as a family, not even in a Christmas and Easter kind of way. It was simply an irrelevance. The world too. So wait, does that mean you believe in God? The party is a kaleidoscope of bass beats, smoke, dense air, warm bodies pressed up close and on the move. He's yelling into my ear and I am plummeting internally. I have had this conversation so many times. It usually goes like this. So what are you studying? Theology. What's that? Theo from God and so like the study of God. Oh, cool, right? Yeah, like all the gods, like Thor and Buddha and stuff. No, actually, just Christianity. Oh God, why? I'm training to be a minister. like a priest with a church and shit. What were you like? Are you gonna like sermons and shit? Like, why would you want to do that? I'm almost coming to an end. I'll find a couple more bits. Let me find a little bit about someone that you know. Oh, here's a bit you guys might remember. The assessment. So you're here today for your psychiatric assessment for the ministry. I mean, we want you to be hearing the voice of God, but not to be hearing voices. You know what I mean. just my little joke. Don't be nervous. Let's start with your mother, shall we? Tell me about your mother. And let's find one last bit and then I'll stop. The Crow 3. Wow. Crow comes with me to the funeral of my friend, Margaret. Literally, he is there. He is always there. Crow hops on one claw. Going to visit people who are dying is kind of part of the drill, like core business. Hatches, matches, dispatches. That's what we do, I was told by a professor at Theological Hall. And so I do. I visit. Sometimes there is fluid like tears and sweat and all the other outpourings that seep and flow and flood from our breaking bodies. Sometimes I hold hands or take off bras or remove sheets. Sometimes there is vomit and they apologize and weep, and together we wipe and settle back, smooth the dying pillow. Sometimes they are sleeping and part of my brain curses because I will have to come back and see them again. And actually I'm crazy busy and I don't have time, but I know I will have to find the time before they die. And then I feel dreadful because when they finally open their eyes, I am so grateful that I get to bless them and say thank you and well done. And other times they yell while gripping my hand with a force that my blood starts thrumming, and they sear through me with wild, unseeing eyes, and they beg me, let me go, like I'm some kind of gatekeeper, like I can open a curtain or a window like the old Irish nurses do and let the soul escape. Let me go, they plead. And I find their sight and I hold their gaze and I say, it's okay. You can go now. You have done well, God's faithful servant. The hardest and the best, of course, are the parishioners who have become your friends, the ones you love and who love you too, which is against the minister's code of ethics, not the love part, but the friendship part, but we all do it and cannot help it, and we don't kind of care what the rules say. I'm going to hold it there. So, tiny excerpts from a story I've been working on for a really long time, the essence of which is about this question of how has religion changed me. And all of you know, because I know you know all this stuff already, that the word religion comes from the Latin religio, ligament, that which connects. So my awakening into religion has been my awakening into a connection with an extraordinary communion of saints, living and dead. And I am utterly grateful to the church for saying yes to me, which doesn't stop me from being pissed off at the church a lot, but grateful all the same. And I hope that that's been sort of an illuminating and maybe playful way to enter into the question. Thank you.